Dum, dum, dum. I'm kicking off the streams. Let me know if you guys are having buffering issues today. I actually lowered the resolution from 1080 down to 720p, so if you're having any buffering, that might be... If you had buffering last week, that may be better this week. Ideally, we'd all be streaming in 1080p, but it takes a lot on your bandwidth to be able to do that consistently, so... Alright, am I here? Hey, Mistwalker, Wily Coyote, Druid's Fire, Fire of the Dragon Leader, Technobeaver, Javur, Thoughtgore, Chris, Todd, Noe, and all the other fine folks in our chat rooms. Hello, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons&Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Had a brain. Wait a second, what's the URL? Hello everybody, how's it going? Yeah, so I'm on Orion, week 1 of 2 here this week, and heck if I know what I'm running. I'll figure that out shortly. It'll be fun stuff, new stuff. Unfortunately, my character on Orion is 1, gear gimped, like severely gear gimped, and 2, only level 20. So, but I think I'm level 20 and I can take epics. Yeah, okay, because I've picked Epic Destiny. So, I kind of don't want to... I don't know what I'm going to run. I'll figure that out shortly. Yeah, thanks, Shu, for doing the DDO Wiki stream beforehand, DDO Wiki talk. I appreciate that. It's a nice lead into the show. And then after the show here at 1 o'clock-ish, Follow the Noob with Samus Garobo is on right here at the same Twitch channel. Hey, Azset, V-Love, Flyflung Flu, Dragonor, Starry Night, Gemini, Cosmic Doe, Hive Gunner, Heavy Gunner, sorry. Yes, this airship needs more amenities. I don't actually know what... Oh, I know that guild. Anyway. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, alright. So I'm actually looking forward to today. This should be a real fun day here. Today we've got some exciting stuff happening in the world of DDO. We are working on a patch. Should be next week on that long-in-the-works patch that we've kind of figured out what was going on that prevented us from being able to deploy it. And so now we're good to go there. So that'll be the main thing, and then of course we are nearing the time of update 40, which will be Night Revels, along with a bunch of other cool things, and kind of a smaller patch, but it'll be Night Revels with new Night Revels dungeons and some other good stuff that I don't know how much I can actually talk about yet. So maybe I better hang on. Do you guys know we have new? So if I asked the question, then I kind of gave it away, didn't I? Alright, yeah, so, sorry. Alright, looks like I've done the desert walk-ups, the desert stuff. I've done Vault of Night. I've done it all on normal, though. I'll do Von Hard. Or Von Elite? Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through my quest log here. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit of time. Oh, no, here we go. Another man's treasure. That'll be a good one. Could do Devil Assault. That'll be a good one. Kind of a big deal. Yep. Alright. Yes, let us run the new stuff. Remember the board game? Computer game is great as well. I do remember the... So, I got caught slipping this weekend at the flea market. For those who hear me talk fairly regularly, you'll know that I'm kind of a bit of an obsessive with flea markets and thrift stores and all that sort of thing. And I stumbled across a 1979 edition of the AD&D box set, basic box set, the one that had Keep on the Borderlands, the one that had kind of the raw-looking cover with a kind of more hand-drawn dragon and all that sort of thing. Not the sort of higher quality shaded one, but the OG one with the red dragon in the kind of vertical center. And I asked how much the guy wanted for it. Now, okay, so here's the thing. I was missing a few of the dice. The tokens had already been popped out and were kind of scattered and kind of crumbled up, so it wasn't in the greatest shape. And I asked the guy what he wanted for it. He said $8. And I was like... I went to get to the cash machine to pull out the $8. Got back. The dude behind me was just like... Yoink! So I got back and it was already gone. I got caught slipping because I didn't have $8 in my pocket. But man, that was a cool find. You don't see that too often. Yeah, so I was sad, but hey, that's the breaks when you enter the piratical world of flea market stuff. Yeah. Nice, Brian. Unopened $2. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it was missing about half of the small blue dice. So it wasn't, you know, I don't know value-wise that it was super valuable because it was pretty beat up. You know, there was a lot of fraying on the edges of the box and things, and but it was still just very cool. And so I would have liked to have owned it, but it's definitely worth more than $8. I'll tell you that much. So I had brought cash to the flea market, but I bought Intellivision games in a really cool box, and Split Second, the portable game thing from Parker Brothers from 1980. And so I burned through all my cash. And then on the way out, I was like, oh crap, that's an OG DDO or D&D box. Alright, looks like Shoemaker doesn't have an at-level character, so I do have one spot open on Orion for an epic-level character. Mock Duck is the name to send the tell to if you want in. So, yeah. Value is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, so for me it was easily worth $8. And I did do an eBay search, and it looks like the buy it nows on it, which tend to be on the overpriced side, are about $60 to $70 on that thing. But those tend to be complete and in better shape than this one is. So I looked at the sold by, and the lowest it was sold was about $25. So I'm going to say it was probably easily worth $8. Probably worth $20 to $30. But now I grew up. My first one was actually the red box, the TSR red box basic set. That's the one that I had first, and that would have been what, 82, 83, something like that. I know if I had seen the dude, like, basically flipping out behind me, I would have just found a way to have the guy reserve it, but I figured I'd have enough time to go to the cash machine quick. Nope.
The town seems to be recovering from a recent attack. Battered and bruised townfolk go up.
It's probably on eBay now. Yeah, that's kind of, that's the one kind of bad thing about flea market work, is you tend to run into a lot of flippers Dude, especially when you hunt for retro video games like I do. Jeez. You know, you get some real special personalities that you have to compete against sometimes. But whatever. You know. I found 2 Intellivision games with their slipcases for $2 each, so hey. It was all good. I got Space Armada and, some other kind of space game. Astroblast, or Astroblast, that's what it was. Astro Smash. Sorry, the name is skipping my brain. I'm less of an Intellivision collector than an Atari collector. But I just recently started getting into the INTV, as it were, due to finding a really groovy one a while back. Let's see. Spies in the House is good XP and Epic. Heck yeah, it does. I actually... God, where was I running? I did Spies just this week. Oh, I did Spies on my Lobby level 7 or 8 on Thalanis. And geez, with a 50% XP pot, the bonus weekend that we still have going on, actually, for another 24 hours. And, the Greater Tonal Learning, I picked up something like... God, how much was it now? I want to say 43,000 XP on a first run Elite. Is that right? Maybe it was 24,000. I can't remember what it was now. Either way, it was a ton of XP. It was like, holy moly. That is the quest, man. Either way, it was basically an entire rank on heroic, so... where did I... Let me actually get back to chat here a second. What up, sending love from California to all the DDO players. Hello, California. How is Wednesday treating me? Wednesday is treating me fine. I am in a great D&D place right now. I've got a game going on that I'm having fun with, the pen and paper thing. I'm starting to work on my own adventure, which I will be doing live here on DDO Stream in October. I'm working on D&D night, which I can actually talk about here in a little bit. DDO's going good. My Vistani pseudo-assassin on Thalanis, which is, I guess, on 4th or 5th life. Well, that character is destroying everything, so that's good. And, yeah, so, all good times. Oh, I could probably do without the kite. Maybe we need to be careful while kiting these wolves around like that. This might get really hard to get them. Of course, when I die... Fort bypass? No, I mean, I've got 100% for it at least. really just hitting that hard, huh? I do only have 321. Well, about 400 hit points after my con. Stuff is there. Okay. Where did I get that Loth poster behind me? We have a bunch of them here in the office. They were made back for the 2012 election of the United States. Back in the day, Turbine, the marketing manager, just got up in the middle of the night with an idea to do it, and was just like, heck yeah. And so he printed up a whole bunch of those things, and just kind of a funny thing. And we happened to bring them to, I guess it was PAX that year, maybe? Something like that? I'm not quite sure, can't quite remember. But we made a lot more than we gave out, so I've just got it hanging up here, and it's fun. It is known the Maybar Dragon is coming back. Cool. Yeah, that is not what I'm talking about, but yes. Can the devs look into the Warlock's burst? Because when you lock onto breakables, it says it's blocked or too far when you try to use them. Well, that's technically kind of working as intended, right? Because you're targeting and then something that you would be able to normally, say, melee destroy or something like that. I mean, I can see that it's annoying, but I don't know. It might be a challenge to.
Magic, and clearly poses a major threat to the valley.
We need a mountain dwarf barbarian iconic. So, you know, we hear conflicting requests on the iconic dwarf. The one I think more often than the mountain dwarf type that comes up would be the, like, Hammer of Moradin. You know, sort of a Warhammer iconic focused on the Moradin, or Moradin, however you say it, deity. And that kind of makes a lot of sense, so I don't know. Will we see update 40 on Lamania? Yes. I don't actually know when, but I believe so. When is update 39 patch 2 due? We're still waiting for the downtime. My guess will be next Tuesday. But it's not exactly set in stone, so don't hold me to it. That's my oh, assassin. That'd be for the throne. I can actually go through the notes. I'm pretty sure I've gone through them before, but let me call up the page real quick on the patch 2 release notes, just so people know currently what's in it. The Fighter Kensai's Power Surge is no longer an action boost. It now has its own set of charges per rest. Core 5 of Fighter Kensai grants a +1 Power Surge use per rest. Core 6 is +2. Kensai's One Cut is no longer an action boost in some edge cases. Colors of the Queen will no longer affect allies when using Flame of the Favored. Blinding Speed's description now matches what it actually does, which is 22% range attack speed. And it's missing a 1% dodge bonus has been added. We've added, it'll have War Paint to the Mysterious Remnants vendor. That's for Druids and Wolf, Winter Wolf Bear, and Dire Bear forms. We're upping the Crystal Cove stuff for the next time it comes around. The revamped Fierling Carnival weapons will now have their proper minimum level. Wave's freeze effect will work more reliably. The Cursed Shard will be Cold Iron. The Bastard Sword's Spinal Tap will now go to D11. You can now get mythic versions of several items in Return to White Plume Mountain. We're fixing an issue where sentient gems with a spark and over 60,000 sentient XP. Some people are losing that extra XP when it's being fed to a different gem. That'll be fixed. We're introducing the melee survivability stuff that you can read on the forums related to giving you bonus to hit points based on your combat feats. ASMR racial hit point bonus will be sacred. The paladin defensive stance hit point buff will be competency. Barbarian DR will shift to its percentage based thing. Fixing some undead that are being improperly healed. Fixing the issue that has Enter the Kobold busted right now. Basically, there's an issue with the puzzle there that we had to resolve. A couple of stuck spots are getting fixed. And then feats will now be organized by category in the character sheet. That's a nice, I believe, Linabel change. Nice little quality of life thing there. Anyway, that's and there may be a few other things that have been added since the last time I actually updated the notes, which was a little while ago now. Yeah, Mitchell Harrelson, it's always a bit of a challenge to get back into a game that you knew very well years ago, but have since kind of, you know, lost track of, as it were. I hear you, man. Ah! And I am just not set for elite here. This character's too wimpy. Did I like the TurboGrafx 16? I never had, nor had a friend who had a TurboGrafx 16, so unfortunately it's not a console. I'm familiar with it only because I'm a retro gaming nerd, but I don't actually have any experience with the TurboGrafx. I used to play a lot of the original Ys, which was originally a TG16 game. It came out on the... something or other. PSP, maybe? Spears, I think we would love to do Spears. You know, at some point in the future when that becomes something that we can realistically do, I think we'll be down for it. So it just, you know, it's going to take a lot of animation work and some other work that we've just opted to do other things with that time. Is Night Revels coming next month? Yes. Absolutely. It's going to have new stuff, new items, including perhaps one of the coolest rune arms I done ever seen. I'm not talking about power level here, although it is nice. I'm mostly talking about just awesome looking. I don't have an exact start date for you, though. Hopefully I can get you that info soonish. But holy moly. You know what? We are just not good for this. I think it's a little bit too challenging for our particular level here. Why don't we release out and go back in on hard? We'll tear through it a lot easier, huh? Good question on cloaks. You're right. So the last time I updated the notes was still at a point that it wasn't clear whether cloaks were going to make it into this patch or whether it was going to be update 40. I think it's update 40 on cloaks. Yeah, it is update 40 on cloaks. You know what would be nice? Remember some of the event stuff like the D20 we rolled cards for, having those convert to craftable trinkets or something after events end. At this point, there are probably... I mean, there are people who still have that D20, but... There's a whole bunch of people who weren't even around when that happened. So they'd be kind of bummed out. I don't know. Sometimes things come to an end. That's just the way it is. Nice. Elixir of Discovery. I'm actually going to get an airship beacon. Do it that way. A best in slot for a child of Aryan named Quarterstaff. Jeez, that one's a tough one for me. I don't have the answer for that. Maybe the chat room does. If someone is looking for a best in slot named Quarterstaff for a child of... You're saying Aunorn or whatever the deity is. I think you mean Aryan? Let's hear it. I'd be curious to know the answer to that. Next week's bonus, I'll get down to that in a sec. Wood Elves for update 40? No. No, that's later. Shoemaker is making a little bit of a programming announcement. Basically going to be alternating between DDO Wiki Talk and Shoe Cobbles, potentially, for the show leading into this. If you weren't around back in the day, Shoe Cobbles was really kind of a testing out of a build sort of thing. That was pretty cool. Wooden Ore from Crystal Cove. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. No, cloaks are not for the patch. I'm pretty sure cloaks are for update 40, which, to be fair, is not that far away. Yes, the thinking cap is still in the daily dice roll. Cosmic Dog, there are some good YouTube videos about surviving Reaper. I would do a search for DDO Reaper tutorial or something like that. I also check out Ginger Spice's channel. This will be Voodoo Spice. Gosh, I know he's done one. And there's a couple other folks who have done some really good Reaper tutorial videos.
Where Mortagon fled. The sounds of combat can be heard in the distance.
Why don't battered shields with store-bought ones no longer work in the Stone of Change? I don't know. If it's a cosmetic, it probably shouldn't.
From a recent attack. Battered and bruised townfolk go up.
Well, that one's a new one to me. I didn't realize that the old battered cosmetic would work in the Stone of Change.
We live in a cave near Idle. Please make sure they don't defile the artifact.
Ah, yeah, Strim Tom. Yeah, Strim Tom's show. Over twitch.tv slash Strim Tom. He's an excellent Reaper runner, and he would do some great tutorial work for you. I don't know. To Macubray's question about when the new Daily Dice cosmetics will be in the DDO store. I don't know. That's not really up to me. Probably when they're no longer in Daily Dice. So they get swapped out with something else. Oh, yeah, Deep Reap as well. D-E-E-P-R-E-E-P. Or R-E-A-P? On Twitch as well does a lot of good Reaper video work. Could call him that. Yes, Kevin, I am planning to talk here about D&D night. But first, on the list of order of business, let us get to the bonuses. The answer is double daily dice. So double daily dice is twice the XP, and it's auto-calculated, so that's what it means. Like if you get 100, you'll be getting 200. If you get 1,000, you'll get 2,000. If you get 7,500 like I just did, you'll get 15,000, because that's what 7,500 times 2 is. That kicks off on Thursday and runs through Monday. But just a reminder that up until that next bonus is active, so until tomorrow morning, you still get plus 10% buddy XP. So 10% for every member in your party other than yourself. And that'll run basically through tonight, along with 50% guild renewal. So if you're thinking about running spies in the house with your buddies, now might be the evening for it. I'm just saying.
With the spider defeated, you look around to see where this gargantuan creature came from. You spot the entrance to a cavern up above.
Alright, so now that that's done...
You enter the cavern. These gigantic...
I heard something somewhere about a cosmetic wardrobe being considered. Any news on that? It's something that we've long wanted to do. It's going to take engineering work, so one of our DDO engineers is going to have to spend some hours actually working on the solution to cosmetic storage, which is largely going to be a matter of differentiating items so that a container can determine that it's a cosmetic. So it's a not insignificant technical challenge, But it's something we've long wanted to do, and it's something that we do want to do. So I would imagine that at some point here in the future we will hear more about cosmetic storage, but no idea when. Cloaks, that's it. Update 40 will have things like night revels and cloaks and all sorts of other good things too, including the thing I hinted about earlier that I'm not sure if I can talk about. So that's the thing, you do so many chats and things, after a while you forget what's been announced. And it's my job to know. But no, Wood Elves is not update 40. I think Wood Elves is going to be next year. That said, we had basically, you know, once a week there's kind of everyone gets together, you know, heads of the various departments and looks at how much money's come in and how much money's gone out and you know, what's going on and what are the super secret infos. And this week, I got my first look at the Wood Elf. Now, it's very early, right? Because the art is very much still in process, but wow, do they look different. They look cool. I would not say that I love elves. I've been playing elves and drow for many, many years on DDO. Since 2007, as a matter of fact. Or was it 2008? You know, 2007 that drow came out, right? But even I will admit that occasionally elves can look a little bit derpy. Not this time, however. They look rad. Are we hiring software engineers? Not at the moment, but the place you'll want to keep an eye, I would not be surprised if we didn't have something in the relatively near future in that regard. So keep an eye out. We utilize Daybreak's HR rather than having our own HR department because it makes sense. So Daybreak.com. Daybreak Games. DaybreakGames.com/careers. Google Daybreak Game Company careers. You'll get there. How about Wild Elves? Different genre of class and race. So, we've actually interchangeably been using the terms Wild Elves and Wood Elves for this elf racial variant, but I think we're going to Wood Elves at this point. No, an extra tab in the account bank wouldn't solve the underlying issue, which is that the way cosmetic stuff is created, it doesn't know the difference between a cosmetic item and a regular item, right? So we can't have a specific things for cosmetic only storage right now because the storage system is like, what? You mean everything? And so that's going to take some engineering work to sort through. No. Will wood elves have racial reincarnation feats too? So the way that there's time before we actually release them, of course, but the current thinking is that this will be an alternative rather than additive when it comes to your racial past lives. So you won't have an additional track to run down if you're a racial completionist. But if you want your elf past lives, you can get it either through playing a regular elf or one of these elf variants. So it's kind of a either or rather than and regarding the past lives. And there was a lot of debate, frankly, internally on that one. You know, some people were like, well, no, because people want to get another racial feat and all that. And then there were people who were like, well, this isn't really a new race, it's a racial variant. So we kind of need to set a meta rule as to how we want to deal with racial variants in the future, assuming they're successful and we want to do more of them, right? So we've kind of settled on racial variants because they share so much of a core race rather than kind of being their own thing, that we're going to have them not have additional past lives. You're having trouble copying your character to Lamania. Who should I talk to? That's going to be a challenging one. So the best advice for copying a character over, there's a long-standing post out there somewhere on this, but in general, there are some general causes for characters not copying over well. One is that there's an item ID conflict. So for example, if you were to give item A to character Y, and then give item A to character Z, and transfer character Y to Lamania, you could not then transfer character Z to Lamania because you're going to have an item conflict. So don't do that. The other thing that will come up is if the character has not been logged into, I think within the last 30, 60, or 90 days? I can't remember what it is now. A couple months. Log into that character, log out on the live client, and then try copying it over again. If your character was an old Codemaster's character, you might be out of luck. Other than that, I believe those are the three big ones regarding why people run into difficulties copying over characters. Anyone have a recommendation for a rogue skills and enhancements? Well, don't do what I do. But in general, rogues have a plethora of skill points, right? So you're going to actually, assuming you have a decent enough intelligence, which you'll want to do for your disable, you're going to end up with a lot of skill points. The other thing, and search. And then if you want spot, you'll want to have a little bit of wisdom, dexterity for open lock, and the rest. So anyway, you're going to have a generally more skill points than you know what to do with on level up. So for skills, just focus on all the rogue skills, you know. Disable device, search, spot. I like to take a little bit of swim because you're going to have a high reflex save, so you may often be called to do, say, like the crucible swim, things like that. Hide, move silently. Use magic device. Use magic device is a great one for a rogue because you've got the skill points to be able to take care of it. And for enhancements, it really depends on what kind of rogue you want to play. This is a universal enhancement rather than a rogue enhancement, but this character, for example, along with the one I'm playing on Thelanis, I've actually dipped pretty heavily into Vistani Knife Fighter. Vistani Knife Fighter is this kind of dagger down playstyle that gives you some really cool bonuses for using daggers. So if you want to be a stabby dagger rogue, you might actually want to move away from the rogue enhancement trees at the moment and focus on Vistani Knife Fighter. Assassin is really cool because it allows you to not only get some good damage output, but also be able to insta-kill with your Assassinate ability, which is, I understand, a little bit on the... Some people find it is maybe not as effective as some of the other means of insta-killing nowadays, but it is an option for you if that's something you want to do. If you want to be a quarterstaff, like kind of acrobatic style rogue, then, you know, Thief Acrobat's pretty good. I played a Favored Soul Thief Acrobat hybrid, kind of a support character on Thelanis during this past life, and actually found it to be kind of cool. Wasn't the greatest DPS or anything, but it was pretty fun. And if you want to be like a mechanic, you can actually, some of the best DPS in the game right now, frankly. At least last I heard. The meta changes so rapidly, but last I heard, a good spec mechanic rogue, you know, with like a heavy crossbow, can dish out among some of the best DPS in the game, so all valid options. A rogue is not starving for valid things to do. Oh, Tumble. Yeah, Tumble's nice too. Not the most useful thing, but it doesn't hurt. Oh yeah, guild leaders don't copy either. Good point. Thank you, Urlock. Guild leaders do not copy to Lamania. And that's actually part of a bulletproofing system that if something were to go wrong, let's say, and it doesn't happen on Lamania character copy, but it utilizes the same system for non-Lamania as well. And if we were to run into an issue where it would lose your character, so to speak, then your guild would be auto-disbanded. And so that's why we don't allow guild leaders to character copy over.
Cool, damp air fills the hallway as the door opens.
I mean, it hasn't happened, but the risk alone is great enough that it's just like,
chamber ahead.
No, we can't do that. Yeah, I don't do auto-hosting, it's just too problematic. But I'd be happy to host you sometimes. Yeah, resign, bring it to your successor, copy the character over, and then re-promote yourself. I hear complaints about playing Assassin Rogue on Reaper difficulty. That's probably true. I don't think your Assassinate is particularly well suited to Reaper difficulty. But if you ain't doing Reaper, then yeah. That's cool. So Unmitigated 1, I will actually take a look at that. If truly all you stream is DDO and your content's, you know, pretty good and not full of profanity or what have you, I'll take a look at that and perhaps I can host you on DDO stream. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Like I want me take this far away from you.
I use a lot of profanity. I mean, we are an official channel here, so I don't know that we can really do that. I'm sorry. Not that we really are too prudish or even really care that much, but we are, you know, we are an official representative of Standing Stone Games and video and what have you, so that's kind of... something we must be cognizant of. Think of the children. Why am I so slow? Alright, for some reason I am exceptionally slow here, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. True Seeing mutes high wisdom later. That's probably true, Sterling, because True Seeing will give you basically a 30 spot on that sort of thing. So you really don't need to worry too much about that. But at the same time, you know, you're going to want a little bit of wisdom for saving throws. But yeah, I typically don't worry too much about wisdom thing. Oops. Why am I so slow?
You've cornered MechTech in this chamber. The entrance has been blocked by a recent cave-in, and the kobold is too gigantic
Is that a bug? There
to
must be
escape.
a bug here or something, huh?
MechTech totters, dropping his prize as he falls. The artifact clatters to the ground, and then, to your horror, disappears with a flash. Before you
Yeah, I don't
can
have a
absorb
restoration
this
pod,
turn of
unfortunately.
events, a portal opens nearby, and a small but familiar form emerges.
Oh, I do have... Oh, let's check secret doors. I thought it was Expeditious Retreat. Bummer.
Nimue assures you the effects of the artifact will wear off soon.
I don't suppose anyone has a
For moment, you
restoration.
imagine
Like,
all
let's
the
restore, see if
amazing
that'll
things
fix it.
you could do as a giant, and then you realize you're stuck in this cave until you return to your normal size.
Yeah, but I'm like super slow. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I catch that. I know that it's slower than normal, but I was totally outrun by the rest of the party there. It seemed particularly slow. Alright. Silver Kopesh for crafting might be the answer to this one. Yep, that is the answer. Okay. Alright, that's cool. That's actually going to wrap it up here. I'm going to level up real quick before the end of the show. Ooh, that was a good call. I didn't even think about trying to tumble my way around. That's cool. So, yeah, I don't know. I've heard that about the crabs, how they should walk sideways, but... Woohoo, 1 point! Alright, that is... Sorry, I'm checking out the questions here. Alright, yeah, that's going to wrap it up with the show. Thank you so much for being here. Up next, Follow the Noob with Samus Garobo. He'll be hosting here on DDO Stream. You can follow him over on his channel as well. I will get you guys a DDO points code a little bit later on in the day today. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll be back next week on Orion for week 2 of 2. And by that point, we'll probably have some notes and other things to talk about here as well. Hope you're having a great DDO week. Hope you have a good weekend coming up. I will see you next week.